everybody, Lydia here from Build Yourself Inside. Happy Friday. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful weather if you're out here in Northern Virginia where I am. And if you didn't see my post earlier, I want to again apologize to those of you who bought tickets to go to our Mastery Mind event tomorrow. I will not be attending. So, there were some conflicts. I pulled out. So, but no fear, I am putting together another workshop series later on this fall, so stay tuned. And I also put up a link earlier to my upcoming body and mind transformation workshop series. So go check it out if you haven't. It links up on my Facebook. But what we are going to talk about in this video is how to get that body, how to make those changes that everybody is coming to me for, that everyone's going around on the internet looking for information about, or they're reading books and YouTube and everything, and we're working so hard to manipulate our bodies. And this goes right back to the question that I wanted you all to ask yourselves that I posted earlier on Facebook, and that question is, why? You're out there, you're trying to make more money, why? You're trying to change your body, why? Maybe you want a relationship, why? The reason why this is so important is because it's exactly what causes the problem in why people can and cannot get to their goals. This is the make or break for why you are successful at what you are doing or why you're not successful at what you're trying to pursue. And let me give you an example from my past. So like I said, and most of you know, I was using reasons to spite other people, to show other people, to prove something, to give myself the motivation to do something about something that I did not like about myself. So I wanted to change the way I looked. So I did it because I wanted to show you. I wanted to show everybody. I wanted to spite everyone. And yeah, it felt great. You better believe my high school reunion was bittersweet. But the problem with that attitude is that you are going to be constantly seeking validation from other people in order to keep that fire going, to keep going, to keep what you earned or what you have, right? Because it can be a good thing, what you have, right? It can be like an amazing body. It can be in a relationship, or maybe you started a business. But if your reason is not for yourself, if your reason is not for you, then it is going to be impossible to maintain that relationship or that business or that wealth or that body. I can guarantee you it will be impossible to maintain if you're doing this for your parents, if you're doing this for your friends or your whatever, your family or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. As long as you're pursuing what you're pursuing because everyone thinks that you should be doing it, not only are you going to hate life, but you're a slave to society and you're a slave to the people around you. And this is why when I coach people, I go heavily into where they are getting their influence from. Because for everybody, it's different. It could be a closer family member. It could be, a lot of times it's parents. A lot of times it's close friends. But when we start to kind of peel this away, we start releasing a lot of tension and pressure on ourselves. When we start to notice where we are feeling those things, right? The first way to start fixing the first way to start really adjusting what you're going after and making sure that it's the right thing for you is to start peeling away and noticing where all the pressure is in your life and who and what is causing it. Because when you can do that and you can start separating that, and I'll give you a really subtle example or a couple examples that happened today. And this is actually really minor, but it's so significant. It is so significant because if you are being a pushover in a small area in your life, I can guarantee you are doing this in other areas. So here's my example. I was, right now I'm full-time at the Pentagon, probably going to jump ship fairly soon, but you know, it was my high carb day, so I decided to treat myself to a lovely meal. And I was, you know, there was a woman there getting some salad, and I dropped right next to her, and I was getting myself some salad, and all of a sudden I noticed her body. I didn't look at her face, but I noticed her body turn to me. And all of a sudden I felt oh my gosh, I just started reading this book, and they call the emotional body. Go check out The Road Less Traveled. It's such a great book, and what he calls this is when you start feeling like a pressure or a negative emotion, is like what's happening is like your emotional body is rising. So you start feeling like some sort of pressure. So I noticed when I was standing there getting my salad and I was taking my time, I could feel like this come on kind of thing. And you better believe I was like, what went through my head, what would have gone through my head in the past is, oh shit, I better get out of her way. But that doesn't happen anymore. You see, I've done a lot of work on myself, and this is the work I do on my clients, and I sort of retrain them to think a different way. And what goes through my mind now is, it's not my fault that she's late. I shouldn't have to hurry up because of her. You know, I mean, reality is us hurrying up is not going to make other people happy. That's reality. Even though we try, right? We think it's what's going to work. In the moment, it doesn't. So I took my time, and even though like she was frustrated, that's not my problem. Now, why is this not selfish? Some of you are probably confused here and probably thinking, Lydia, that's so selfish. Why didn't you get out of her way if she's in a hurry? That's not a nice thing. The nice thing to do is to let her go. What you're doing when you're thinking like that is you're putting someone else's time above your own. So you're actually placing your time underneath them. And like I said, this is so important, because if you're doing it in like a subtle situation like this, like, you know, let's say you're on a pedestrian crosswalk and, you know, you have the right to cross, and yet there's a car, they're sitting there and you feel bad, so you hurry up and run anyway, right? That's another area where we feel pressure in our lives where we shouldn't have to feel pressured. So is this starting to make sense? So what I'm not stressing here is that you're putting yourself above people, but you're making yourself and your time and your value equal to the people around you. So let's jump right back into the topic of how to change your body. How is this relevant? When you start doing things for you, well, let's first start off, like, let's talk about when you're not doing things for you, okay? If you're trying to change your body to get a relationship, if you're trying to get a body to make money, if you're trying to get a body to prove a point, if you're trying to get a body to be happier, all of these things are things you cannot get by changing your body alone. Because having a body transformation, and I had to learn this the hard way, is nothing more than a byproduct of a mind shift. So if you've actually gone through the body transformation process, what a lot of people don't realize is that at the start of this, they actually did have a mind shift. Something transformed in their own mind first, right? Maybe they realized they became conscious of the fact that nobody else is going to help them, or they became conscious of the fact that their health is at risk, or, you know, something became a dire need, and that's why they decided to take care of it. So it became a need, right? Here's the mind transformation. It became a need. It was no longer a want or a desire or a wish, right? It became a holy shit, I can't not live without this anymore, right? And you don't need to be on death row. You don't need to have like a heart attack to have this kind of mind transformation. You see? So now the confusion here is that, like, what I thought was, okay, if I'm transforming my body in order to get something, that is doing it for me, right? No, wrong. That's completely wrong. Okay? Doing something for you means that what you're going to get out of it is something that you are causing, that you are the catalyst for, right? Like for instance, you know, the reason I used to go to the gym was, okay, I ate too much, or, oh my God, I want to look good to everyone else tomorrow, or potentially, oh, I want, you know, maybe some hot guy will ask me out, whatever, you know, if I look good. And all of these reasons are not reasons for you. Okay, so let's take this paradox here of like, I ate too much, I need to go work out. How is this not for me? It's not for you because you are working out to burn something off that you wish you hadn't eaten in order to look like something to somebody else. Right? It always comes down to what you look like to somebody else. And when you can honestly and finally say that you're doing it because you are transforming your body, because you have enough respect for yourself, because you see value in yourself. These are the two things that you need. You need to be respecting yourself. Once you start respecting yourself and once you start valuing yourself, your body, you will begin to take responsibility for your body. And not only that, you will begin to take responsibility for your finances and your relationship situation and your health and what you want in life. These are all byproducts of building that foundation that tells you that you are important, that you are of value to society and to people out there. The people who don't see you as value are people you shouldn't be concerned with. You know, just because they can't see your value, and I know a lot of you have probably seen that quote that floats around on Google Images or Facebook, is that just because someone else can't see your value doesn't mean you don't have any value. Right? So we can't base how we feel about ourselves off of what other people think of us, because there's so many different variables that fall into that, and that's why it's such a trap. It's such an emotional trap for us. And the way to really make it a permanent, the way to make happiness is like a permanent thing, and satisfaction and a good quality of life, the way to make that a permanent thing is to build a solid, long-lasting love and just acceptance for yourself and acceptance for who you are, regardless of what you look like, and regardless of the mistake you made yesterday, or regardless of eating that extra cupcake or that donut, right? Accept your mistakes, because nobody is perfect. And as obvious as that sounds, most of us are still unconsciously striving to be perfect. Am I wrong, right? Am I wrong? This is not wrong. And when you stop striving to be perfect and to not make mistakes in front of people, or to say something wrong, eat something wrong, invest in something you shouldn't, when you start beating yourself up for this, you're telling yourself that you're wrong and that you made a mistake and that you should be punished. That's a way of punishing yourself, is by telling yourself that you're not as good as who you thought you were. And we're doing this to ourselves most of the time. All the time. We're doing this to ourselves all the time. It could be other external things that are triggering this behavior as well. So, what does all this come down to? What is the summary? What do I want you to take away from this? What I want really everyone to start doing, and not just my clients, what I really want to start seeing in other people is to start asking yourself why. Why do you desire what it is you desire? Is it because you desire it? Or is it because your partner desires it for you? Or is it because your parents desire it for you? Or is it because your friends desire it for you? Or don't desire it for you, right? It could be either way. People use guilt and things to try and make you do things. And, that what you can really start practicing is just awareness around this stuff. And when you actually focus on something enough, and when you start putting awareness on something enough, it begins to autocorrect, and you begin to start noticing where you're creating more stress on yourself. You're actually creating more stress and pressure on yourself when you allow people to treat you with a lack of respect. So the first thing to do is to notice where that's happening. And like I said, start journaling. This is the best way to start doing that. And there's a lot of other strategies. If you're interested in those strategies, I would be happy to help you with that. Feel free to private message me and we can link up. But I feel like that is the most important thing, is to really start observing yourself, observing your behavior, observing where all these stresses and these negative emotions are coming from, because there is something out there. There are variables out there that you can control. You have control, and you can get control over this. I can guarantee it. I've already seen it in my clients in one session. I've seen it in my clients in one session. So if you really want true success out of your life, you need to be doing it for the right reason. And that reason is 100% to make yourself feel good and worthy and valuable. On that note, time for me to get to the gym, and I hope you all have a great weekend. I will be in training all weekend, NLP training. So excited. But enjoy this gorgeous weather, and like I said, check out my my upcoming workshop series on Meetup. I will be creating a Facebook group for this as well. I just haven't gotten around to it, but it will be coming. So have a great afternoon, guys, and I will talk to you soon.